A highly respected test pilot, she's logged over 38 days in space. First female commander of the space shuttle and first woman shuttle pilot ever on the first flight of the joint Russian-American space program. The first female T-38 Talon flight instructor for the Air Force. First in her original class of 40 in flight school to solo. She is innately a first type of personality. The pilot, our next generation of astronauts desire to emulate, man or woman. Inspirational, genuinely an aviation professional, she is Colonel Eileen Marie Collins, U.S. Air Force retired, shuttle pilot extraordinaire. Born November 19, 1956, in Elmira, New York, to James and Rosemarie Collins, she watched gliders fly from Harris Hill as a young girl, imagining what it would be like to fly. And of course, gliders had no engines, even more intriguing. Those days were mythical, inspiring her to believe one day it could be her up there. However, further inspiration came from books on Amelia Earhart and watching the legacy space programs on television, Gemini and Apollo, as the United States sought out deep space exploration and the first moon landings. Graduating high school from the Elmira Free Academy in 1974, Eileen then attended Corning Community College, the old-fashioned way, by working a variety of jobs. But those jobs paid for more than just college. Flight lessons beginning at age 19. Graduating from Corning with her associate degree in mathematics and science, it was off to Syracuse University. However, Eileen would eventually earn her master's from Stanford University in operations research and her Master of Arts in Space Systems Management from Webster University. Out of Syracuse, Eileen was one of just 4 women admitted to the U.S. Air Force's undergraduate pilot training program at Vance Air Force Base. A talented student aviator, after winging, she stayed at Vance for 3 years as an instructor pilot, one of the first women to do so and the first female T-38 Talon instructor. The Talon was fun to fly and top performance all the time. First just made her day. Leaving Vance, destination a new command and new for her, a really big airplane, the C-141 Starlifter, a long-time, proven, long-haul cargo plane, which exhibited high-performance flight characteristics considering its size. She could handle the performance and big airplanes. Not soon after, there she was, serving during the Grenada invasion, transporting troops and rescuing medical students. She loved the mission and serving during times of need. Off again to a new duty station, in 1986, Eileen becomes a professional at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, teaching mathematics, but never out of the cockpit, a T-41 flight instructor for the young cadets. However, the high point was in 1987, marrying Pat Youngs. They have 2 children, Bridget and Luke. Not surprisingly, this Air Force rising star was off again. It was 1989. Her groundbreaking trajectory continued. Only the second woman to attend the U.S. Air Force Test Pilot School at Edwards Air Force Base, graduating in 1990. Eileen is special, and NASA knew it too, selecting her for the astronaut program, officially joining them in 1991. What a year. Training time it was, and in 1995, Eileen was assigned as the very first female space shuttle pilot, STS-63, and also the first flight of the joint Russian-American space program, which saw the Space Shuttle Discovery rendezvous with the Russian space station Mir. Appropriately for her exceptional success, as the first female shuttle pilot, she was presented the Harmon Trophy, awarded annually to the world's outstanding aviator, aviatrix, and aeronaut. On her second shuttle flight, the 1997 mission on board Atlantis, STS-84, Eileen was also the pilot. They knew she was good. But in 1999 STS-93, it was Columbia. Eileen had now ascended to shuttle commander. There's that first thing again, the first woman to command a shuttle mission. STS-93 launched the Chandra X-ray Observatory Space Telescope. Then the Columbia disaster. NASA needed to get back on the step quickly. It was the Apollo 7 mission all over again, after the catastrophic Apollo 1 fire. She was, for the time, Wally Schirra, Apollo 7 commander. What was needed for the next flight? An Eileen Collins to command the return-to-flight mission. STS-114 on Discovery in 2005. Eileen's aviator skills were no more apparent than on this mission, when she executed the first rendezvous pitch maneuver, essentially a backflip by the shuttle so that those on the International Space Station could inspect the shuttle's heat shield and tiles for damage. Eileen retired as a colonel from the Air Force in 2005 and NASA in 2006. She has logged over 6,750 hours of flight time in 30 different types of aircraft and 38 days in space. After retirement, Eileen has worked as a media consultant on spaceflight and been involved in political initiatives and spoke at the 2016 Republican National Convention. She is an active advocate for women in aerospace and the STEM industries. She has received numerous awards and honors, including the Distinguished Flying Cross, the NASA Outstanding Leadership Medal, and the National Space Trophy. She has been inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. For her setting the standard for women in aviation and space, inspiring both women and men alike to excel in aerospace disciplines, her advocacy on behalf of STEM academics, and a true first achiever, willing to extend herself to break barriers, and for achieving the most enviable spaceflight record of accomplishment in the shuttle program. The San Diego Air and Space Museum takes great pride inducting Colonel Eileen Marie Collins, U.S. Air Force retired, into the International Air and Space Hall of Fame.